Hello, my name is Karen Knox and I'm the director of the Orion Township Public Library. And I have a special guest with me here today. This is Delores VoVillia?
VoVillia.
Well, I'm going to say your name wrong.
It's VoVillia, but you can say it the other way if you'd like.
Okay. So Delores is the clerk in charge of our library that we have here at the Orion Center. We have a small branch library on the lower level of the Orion Center.
Right.
And you have been open for how long here? About 6 months?
We opened April, first week of April.
First week of April.
Of
Very good.
12.
So almost getting close to a year then.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. And so the collection that you have in your library branch downstairs from in the lower level of the Orion Center, what kind of books and materials do you have available for the public there?
We have a small amount of nonfiction, one half shelf of biography, which doesn't say much, but they aren't called for that much, and the rest are fiction. And we have just recently gotten 100 books that come in every 3 months that will be exchanged with the main library.
Okay.
So that people in our library here have different books to read every 3 months. And so far, when they came in, it has really been a popular item. Several people have taken the books out, and every time I mention it, oh, by the way, those books are, oh, well, I'd like to see what's there, and they take them out quite often.
Oh, that's nice. So the majority of your books are large print, is that correct?
They're all large print.
They're all large print, okay.
We also have a book rack of what we call put and take of
paperbacks? Paperbacks?
Paperbacks, thank you.
Sure.
And those are ones that people donate. They have to fit in that rack. That's all the only size. I had a lady come in today and she brought in a book which looked real interesting, and I said, I'm sorry, I can't take it because it doesn't fit in the rack. We don't have any place to put them other than in that rack. And that rack holds about 350 books.
Oh, wow, great.
It doesn't look like it's that. The only reason I know there's that many, I decided I had a whole box of books that somebody had brought in, and I took all the old ones out and put all new ones in, so I counted them so I know how many were there.
Wow, that is a lot.
And was it you that I was talking to about how many books on CD there are there?
Yeah, how many?
Well, I
don't know.
I didn't look today.
Oh, that's okay.
I had a discussion with someone about how many books I thought there were there. Oh, no, there aren't that many. I said I thought there were 300 anyway. And I said, oh, no, there isn't that many.
Yeah.
But I do believe there are that many.
Okay, great.
And they are
books on CD?
one shelf of biography and nonfiction, and the rest are all fiction. And they are quite popular. A lot of people come in and take them out to go on vacation. When they're going on short trips. I live 8 miles from home, and I have one in my car all the time.
Yeah, I do too, actually. I love audiobooks.
So that you have something to listen to. When I go home, sometimes I'm tired and I'm not ready for reading. And that allows me, in fact, I'm listening to one of Diane Mott Davidson's latest books, and it's real good. She's a real good author. If anybody likes to read mystery, it's real good.
Great. So what hours is the library branch open?
10 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Monday through Friday?
Monday through Friday.
Okay. And so about what do people come in and ask you for when you're down there working? I assume you get a lot of people that come to visit the Orion Center, and then they know you're there, so they come down and visit you. They come in just to chat sometimes, perhaps?
Sometimes.
Yeah.
The computers are very popular.
Oh, yes, the computers. There's 4 computers?
4 computers, 1 large printer. We have computer classes once a week. Every Wednesday is computer class. We have a beginner's class, 2 to 3, and we have a Beyond the Basics, it's called.
Okay.
Which is 10 until noon, and then noon until 2.
Okay.
They are very popular. I have a lady that finished this past Wednesday. The more advanced are 2 weeks of 2 hours.
Okay.
And she called about 3 weeks ago, and she asked, could she sign up for the computer class? And I said, certainly. I checked to see if she was beyond the basics, and oh yes. And so I told her what was available, when she could get in, and I happened to have one that was those 2 weeks. Somebody had canceled. And she says, good, that suits just right. And so I said name and telephone number, and it was odd first 3 numbers. And I said, where do you live? And she said, well, in Fostoria, Michigan, just above Lapeer. And I said,
wow.
You're calling from Lapeer? She says, yes. She says, I know people down there, and they like those classes, and I'm calling to get. So she came down.
That's
Dr.
fantastic.
Bob taught her beyond the basics, and she has a cousin that lives over just down Joslin Road a little bit, so she was familiar with it. But I thought that was great.
That is
coming
great.
From
Word of
Lapeer
mouth.
all the way down here.
Absolutely. And those classes are free to anybody.
They are free, technically. They're
free.
They actually, I don't know what that meant. They are. We have a deposit that they pay $5, and when they come in and finish the classes they're supposed to, they get that back. If they don't show up for the classes, they lose their $5.
They don't get that back. Okay, well that's good. So how long have you been working for the library?
15 years last September.
Wow. And so you must like it a little bit.
Just a little bit.
Okay, well that's good. I'm a little biased in wanting you to say that.
Along with all the people that bug.
Okay.
There are some people that come in and like to tease a little bit.
Really?
I have no idea who they would be, but
you look like you might like to tease some of them too every now and then.
But they are all, I can think over the 15 years, I maybe could come across less than 5 people that I had any problems with.
Oh, very good.
Most of the people coming in, seniors, are very nice people.
Of course they are.
They sometimes, especially with the computers, they're not really sure what they're doing, and when you explain a little bit, they're right there. And a lot of them have learned a lot of about computers that they would not have known had. Sorry, talking about the other library, but we teach to fit the seniors that come in.
Right.
The others are good for the teenage people and for the 25-year-olds and the 40-year-olds, but the 60-year-olds and up need to have a little bit different training.
Absolutely.
A little slower.
They get a little one-on-one, one-on-two with
That's
Dr.
right.
Bob.
And
that's
we
fantastic.
have 2 people in the class along with Dr. Bob.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Dolores, and hopefully somebody will come and visit you in the library at the lower level of the Orion Center.
I hope some new people will come in and check us out.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Prescription drug abuse is a national epidemic. The new in way to obtain drugs is through parents' or grandparents' medicine chests. Removing prescriptions from your cabinet is the best way to keep drugs out of the hands of our young people. We've got to work together to protect our teens, our seniors, and our environment. Clean out your medicine cabinet today. Please participate in Operation Medicine Cabinet and drop off your unwanted or expired prescriptions at one of our law enforcement drop-off sites in Oakland County. We can't ignore this situation anymore.
Welcome to this portion of Active Living. We have a very special guest with us today. We have Dr. Bob Hazzard. Dr. Bob is the computer instructor at the library here at the Orion Center. And we'd like to talk to Bob about the computer classes that he is currently teaching. So Bob, welcome to our program.
Thank you, George.
Could you tell us a little bit about the computer program that you have here at the Orion Center?
There's 3 different kinds of classes that we're doing, and they've kind of evolved over time. When I started in 2001, there was a single class that was for new people who'd never used computers, and there were a lot of people. There were 2 of us actually teaching that class. We had 3 classes on Monday, 3 classes on Wednesday, an hour a week for 5 weeks. Gradually, a lot of people became familiar with computers. They were talking to their kids. They were talking to their grandkids maybe pushing them away from the computers.
Right.
And eventually they started buying computers, but they were still having some problems with doing anything more complicated than turning it on and off in some cases. So we continued with the beginners class where they could at least use the mouse. Then we did a second class that was a little more advanced. Once you know how to do that, you need to do something else. So we call that Beyond the Basics. What happens is we have people who will come in with a list of questions. We ask them specifically, please come in with a list of questions, because I can talk for hours on any topic, but
Right.
it might not affect what you want to do. So they come in with a list of questions, 2 people at a time. I have 1 on each side. They'll go through their list. I'll switch back and forth, and in many cases, one person learns from the other person. They can be very simple kinds of things, like turning it on. If it's a new laptop, how do I get this thing? How do I know if I'm connected to Wi-Fi? Some people have websites. A couple of people I've worked with actually have their own websites. Some of them want to know how to use all of the Office programs just to say that they did it.
Okay.
Okay. I mean, I said, you're really going to do a PowerPoint presentation? No, but I want to know what's involved. I want to
Right,
know how to
right.
do it. Okay, fine. So I don't care. We do it. You know, we do it anyway. Then we have some specialty programs. I started out back probably 9 years ago with a labeling program class, because people said, Christmas is coming up. I want to do labels for, you know, even though personally I don't do it,
Right.
but a lot of people said, you know, they're getting trouble with their hands when they're trying to write these things out longhand, and so I had a labels class.
You do that with using Word?
Using Word, and we talk a little bit beyond the sticky type of regular mailing labels. We also talk about doing business cards.
Okay. Wow.
One lady in my
Okay.
very first class, she said she wanted to do a business card. I said, what's your business? And she didn't say none of your business. What she said
didn't
is,
have a business.
what she said is, what I want to do is I want to take my address information and I want to put it on those cards, because I know I can buy a little glass box or a little wooden box, and I can put that on my antique table instead of this big clunky recipe box. And anytime I need a quick thing, if I'm going to write a note to somebody, I don't want to get to my computer, I can take it out. I can include on there their grandchildren's names and their birth dates and all the other information as well.
Right.
And she had everything in her fingers. The first person that I talked to who was interested in doing something other than a label that sticks onto something.
Now, the average person that goes through your class, how much time do they actually spend with you learning the process?
If it's the beginner's class, it's an hour a week for 5 weeks.
Okay,
If
that's
it's the second class, they have 4 hours. It's 2 hours in the first week, 2 hours in the next week. If it's one of the specialty classes, right now my specialty classes are doing mostly image editing, because that seems to be a hot topic. That's 2.5 hours one day.
Okay. Now, what's the charge, or is there a fee to take these
There
classes?
is no fee. This is offered through the library.
Wow.
The library does not charge for anything for it. There is a $5 deposit when you make your reservation. We kind of impose that because some people said, well, I'm not going to show up. I'm not going to, and if 2 people don't show up, I'm sitting there for an hour waiting
Right.
for the next group.
So you take their $5
So
and run.
we'll take the $5. We'll hold on to it. Dolores holds on to it until they've completed their classes and they get their $5 back.
Well, that's great.
So
So it's like, do you have like makeup sessions if somebody should go on vacation in Florida or something like
Dolores is a very forgiving soul.
that? Oh, is she?
She's a forgiving soul. And in many cases, what will happen is if somebody doesn't show up and for whatever reason, that may be a legitimate reason, and there's someone in the library who's picking up a book and they're kind of interested in what's going on, she'll say, do you want to sit down? You want to sit in and take, the other person could make it. Why don't you sit down and do it?
Great.
So, and if somebody doesn't show up for the class that's for the beginners, she may find somebody that will sit in on that too.
So you do basic computer technology on how to turn it on, how to operate it.
How to use the mouse, and
Right.
we haven't played games to begin with, so they
Okay.
really don't know they're using a computer.
Okay.
But we do talk about drag and drop, what that means,
Okay.
about the right mouse button, the left mouse button,
Copy and paste. And all
copy
that
and
kind
paste.
of
Well,
stuff.
copy and paste we really don't get into with the beginners.
Okay.
We want to get them to the point where they can at least do email, because that's about the 3rd week. We
Right.
get them into email. We send emails back and forth. If they'll let me, I'll take their picture and I'll send their picture to them as an attachment, and then they can send it back to me, or they can send it to one another.
So one of the things I assume that they want to get into is communicating with their family, especially like their grandchildren and that type of thing.
Absolutely, absolutely. In fact, in many cases, they say to me, my son wants me to do this because my grandson is missing me, or because he thinks I ought to be able to do that.
Okay.
So that's exactly what happens.
Do you get into something as advanced as, let's say, Skype or something like that,
Not yet.
where they can actually communicate?
Several people have talked about Skype. It would be nice if we had cameras on the computers. We don't, or microphones.
Okay.
So Skype is kind of out of the question. But I expect I'm going to be seeing people coming in with pads very soon, and tablets.
Right.
I've had one person came in with a cell phone and said, I need help with my smartphone. And another one said, I need help with my GPS.
Well, how about, we're getting to the point now where almost everybody's working with wireless. Is there a schedule to get wireless into the Orion Center?
There's supposed to be. I don't know what the due date is, but it's supposed to happen.
But it's something that you're looking for, obviously.
Absolutely, yeah. A lot of people are now bringing in their own computers rather than using the computers down there.
So once you get wireless, then they can start to work with their own product, with their own machine.
Right.
They can start to do things with the iPad and those types of things.
Even now, they're coming in with, one will have Word 7, one will have Windows 7, one will have Windows 8. We're running XP, so each one's looking, how come mine doesn't look like yours? How come yours doesn't look like mine? And you kind of have to explain the functionality's there, it's just in a different place.
Okay. So anyway, you've got a lot of different things going on with the training class that you have. It's got to be a little bit daunting to them because there's so many subjects that you cover. That can be covered.
Exactly, but it's what's of interest to them. If they want to know why they have all that junk on their desktops, all those little icons that they're not using, that's important to them at that point in time, not how to fill out a form in Word.
Right. So we got a situation here at the Orion Center where someone can come in and learn how to use a computer for free.
Yep.
Learn several of the applications on a computer, which includes things like Word.
We have Word, Excel. We have the full suite. We have the full Office suite.
Great. We
also have Works, because some people have Works on their computer.
Okay.
All they need to do is talk to Dolores. She'll set them up with an appointment, and they're ready to go. Great.
Well, Dr. Bob, we certainly want to thank you for joining us today for Active Living. It sounds like you're doing a fantastic job, and we appreciate our audience being here today, and hopefully you can come into the Orion Center, check out the library, and put Dr. Bob to the test. Thanks for watching.
Hi, my name is Ed Ratzenberger. The Orion Center has a Seniors Advisory Council. It is a group of 12 people who volunteer to help the Orion Center staff with their efforts to provide the programs and services of the Orion Center for the seniors of our community. The Center would like your assistance in order to help determine the activities and services that seniors prefer. The Center is a comfortable and enjoyable place for you to visit, to meet with your friends, and to make new friends. You're welcome to provide your suggestions for activities and services, for your general observations, for your complaints, and for your positive comments. If you would like to give your thoughts to the Advisory Council, please stop by the Orion Center and deposit your comments in one of the boxes that the Advisory Council has made available. If you want to include your contact information, we will respond to you within a few days. Or if you prefer, we also welcome and value anonymous comments. All contributions will be discussed. We hope you will respond, and we thank you in advance for your help. It is a pleasant place to enjoy and does not cost a penny to be a member. Membership in the seniors group is free. Thank you for your time. We look forward to hearing from you and to meeting you. Take care.
Hello and welcome to this portion of Active Living. We're very fortunate today to have Sue Albert here. Sue is our yoga instructor here at the Orion Center. And we brought Sue in today to tell us a little bit about the yoga classes that she runs here at the center. And we just like to welcome you.
Oh, thank you, George. So nice of you to have me here.
Can you tell us a little bit about the yoga classes that you teach here at the Orion Center?
Yes, so we're at this wonderful new space, and I teach about 5 classes here a week. So they're all gentle, or they vary. I have the chair yoga classes, the yoga with ease, and then I have a gentle beginning class, and then I have continuing yoga for people that have been practicing for a while. So there's something for everyone.
Okay, now my wife and I have just been taking some of the yoga classes with you. Can you tell me which level we're at right now?
Okay. So you started with Yoga with Ease 1.
Okay.
And you started in that class, and that was the chair yoga class, which is really good for people to start out if they have never practiced before, or also if they've had any type of surgery, like knee surgery, where it's hard for them to get on the floor. So we do a lot of the postures in the chair, so they don't have to really worry about getting on the floor and back up. But now you've gone up to the Yoga with Ease 2 class, so some of those we're using the chair to help with balance, but the option to use or not to use. And then we're starting to get away from the chair a bit. We're doing some standing, some balancing, and then we're also coming into the floor and doing some poses to help to stretch the hamstrings and the sciatic area, all those areas that tend to tense up a bit.
Well, can you give me some real benefits? Why should someone take this yoga class? Any yoga class?
Okay. Well, I should ask you, George, what you found. But anyway, so typically people will find that it helps to relax their mind and to calm them. So it can decrease anxiety. A lot of people report that they can sleep better at night. It helps to keep the spine flexible and to allow the fluid to move through the spine and to nourish all the joints. And so it's wonderful for the muscles. It helps to loosen those muscles that tend to get tight. And so it helps to relax. And then we end class with relaxation. So relaxation techniques, breathing techniques. A lot of times we tend to breathe shallow, more in the upper chest.
Right.
So I go over some breathing techniques so we learn to breathe deeper and allow that oxygen to travel throughout our body and nourish all the cells.
Which would be great for a musician, right?
Yeah, yes.
So tell me about some of the poses that, there's some poses that you teach in the class, and I assume there's reasons for that.
Yes, okay. So some of the different poses that we do in the class, there is the cat and dog pose, which we either do seated in the chair or on the floor kneeling. And this is wonderful to keep the spine flexible and to keep it moving and healthy, especially as we start to get older. But really at any time in our life.
I can relate to that.
Yeah, yeah. So, and then we also do some half moon poses, standing and seated half moon that gives a nice stretch through the side body.
Okay.
We do those. We do one of perhaps your favorite is the Warrior series and the Warrior poses, which
I like the Warrior one. That's a great one.
Yeah. So that one is really great. It works on balance, and it works on strength, our leg strength. It also helps to open the chest and the arms. So it's really a nice overall pose, asana, that we call. So what did you enjoy about Warrior pose?
I just think it looks great. No, I like it. Anyway, the one I have the hardest time with, though, is the one where I think it's called a tree pose.
The tree pose.
And you have to stand on one foot?
Yes. So, yep, so that's the tree pose, and that's what's nice about having a chair available or a wall to help with the balance a bit. So in that, so we start from the mountain pose. So we start evenly on our feet, and then we come and lift one knee up, either directly up or out to the side, and we find a point to focus our attention. So this really helps us in keeping that focus, focusing our attention, and working on our balance and improving our balance.
That's where I need the work, obviously, because I keep falling over.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's great. Now tell us about your relationship with the Orion Center. Is this the only place? I assume you teach other places.
Right, I do teach other places, but I have been teaching through Parks and Recreation for about 7 years now, I believe, 7 or 8 years.
Right.
And what I really love about teaching here is that it's a nice, clean room, warm, and just very comfortable. And it's nice that we have that broad spectrum of people that we can cater to.
Yeah.
So I teach here. I also teach in Rochester currently.
Okay.
And then through the years I've taught through the schools, or I've taught in Auburn Hills, Oxford.
Okay. How long have you been doing
Orion.
this, by the way?
For 16 years now.
16 years.
Yeah.
So I'm sure you're very good at doing what you're doing.
I hope so.
That's
Yeah,
great.
So.
But in looking at the Orion Center, I mean, this is a fantastic facility as far as I'm concerned. I just love what they've done here, and obviously what we're doing here is putting out a series of programs which allows people to see actually what's going on here. And I think looking at the yoga class is a great opportunity for people who haven't really exercised a lot in the past to come in and take advantage of those types of things.
Right, yep. And so as I mentioned, I have different classes geared towards different people. And also what we try to do is perhaps quarterly offer a free class.
Great.
So people can come. We try to advertise these, and people can come and try it and see if it's for them.
Okay.
That's a great way to try it.
That's fantastic.
And then we offer the classes too in 4-week and 8-week sessions. You can usually, they're advertised through the community brochures that come out.
Great.
And usually quarterly, like fall session, winter, spring, and summer.
Well, our time has just about come to an end. And we've got to wrap up this session, but we would certainly want to thank Sue Albert for coming in and talking to us today. And we're going to wrap up this complete session of active living at the Orion Center.
Okay,
and
thank you, George.
We want to thank you all for watching today, and thank you very much. We hope to see you again very shortly. We're going to put out a series of these programs at least once per month.